Hey, crafters, crocheters, knitters, and yarn enthusiasts, you guys ready for another blanket? Yeah? Yeah. Let's take a look. Now, this blanket, while it's not very wide, it's only 44 inches. It is very tall at 76 inches. It will fit on top of a twin size bed very nicely. So this is my version of the waffle stitch from 2014 when I didn't quite know what I was doing with the waffle stitch. Okay, so you see how we start out with white and then go to blue and then white and then orange, white, green, white, pink, and a big section in the middle that's all white, and then we repeat with the pink, white, green, white, orange, white, blue, and white. Okay, my version of the waffle stitch gives us a lot of texture on the front side, but it's a little flatter on the back side, which I love both sides of this blanket. So it's completely reversible depending on how you want to use it. Okay, hopefully that opening shot wasn't full of, I realize there's dust on my lens. It happens when I'm moving the blankets around, fibers come out, right? So hi, my name is Jenny. Welcome to Granny Square Peg, where I am going through my project pile of blankets that have built up over the years. Since 2012, I think is when it started. I was making blankets and then I would either finish them and just stick them in a pile, or I would not finish them by leaving yarn tails out and not doing borders, not writing up my notes. And they've been sitting around for years and years and years. So this is me going through my project pile, and I am either finishing the blankets or writing down my notes or frogging them if I didn't like the way they came out. So this one is nice and easy because it is already completely done. I did sew in all my yarn tails. The only thing is I don't have any of the leftover yarn to show you what kind of yarn I used, but I'll still tell you everything. And I don't have any notes for it, so I had to sit yesterday with it on my lap and count how many chains, how many stitches in the first row, and what I did. I actually had to go write it down yesterday because this blanket, 2014, and I don't have any notes on it, and it was the second one I had done in a pattern like this, so I was completely at a loss. So I do have a brand new set of notes written down for you, done in my version of the waffle stitch. See, now the waffle stitch is 2 front post double crochets and then 2 back posts and 2 front posts, 2 back posts, and it alternates down the row. And then when you chain and you turn and you go back on the next row, it's still 2 front posts, 2 back posts, but in different spots. And what it does is it gives you this waffle texture, like literally like the food, like the waffle, and it gives you these little divots, you know, where the butter would sit and melt. But I couldn't wrap my head around it all those years ago. I mean, I can do it now, but I couldn't back then. So I actually just did my own version where one row is just all plain double crochets, and it's the next row where I did a front post, then a regular double crochet, then a front post, then a regular, and I didn't even do any back posts on it. So this was my second version. I wanted nice bright, maybe like beachy colors. My first version has jewel tone colors. I have a dark purple, dark blue, dark green, and a dark red. You know what? I'm gonna take you to my computer and I'm gonna show you the pictures of the other one because I actually don't have it anymore. A family member has it, as blankets should do, right? So hold on a second. This is how I have all my blankets and my yarn in my computer. 2014. This is stuff that I made. So right here, yeah, I had done a white version that has a burgundy red, a hunter green, a very navy blue, and a royal purple. There's another picture of it. I had taken them outside and hung them on the clothesline and took pictures of them. These, this here is a stitch marker because I was counting how many rows of white I got out of a skein of yarn. Oh, nope, that's not it. That's a completely different blanket. Ah, there it is, sitting in a chair. So this one came out really pretty. I wish I had, instead of using the bright white, I wish I had used the soft white. I think it would have looked so much better with these dark jewel tone colors. But, you know, it was still pretty. So let's change our camera angle. I'll take the blanket down off the bookcase and I will show you it up close like I do. Okay, so let's start with my notes. I used Red Heart Super Saver. I used them for the white, the pumpkin orange, and the spring green, okay? And I think I used about 4 skeins of white. You know, to be on the safe side, I would buy 5, just to be sure. 1 of the pumpkin orange and 1 of the spring green, okay? I used Red Heart with Love for the pink, it's called bubblegum. I used 1 skein of that. And I don't think I used the full skein for the colors. I think I only used part of it, maybe a little more than half. And then for the blue, I used Bernat Super Value in the cool blue. Okay, so 44 inches wide by 76 inches tall, roughly twin size. I weighed the blanket. It weighs about 2 pounds, 12 ounces, which comes out to 34 ounces. That's how I'm trying to figure out how much yarn I use, because the skeins of yarn come in 6-ounce skeins. I used hook size was an H or a 5mm. Okay. And the yarn weight is a number 4 medium worsted Aran weight yarn. And I made it in 2014, and it's the second blanket that I made with this waffle stitch pattern. And then color placement. The chain, rows 1 through 5, I did in white. Rows 6 through 10 are in the blue. Rows 11 to 15 are in white. Rows 16 to 20 are orange. Rows 21 to 25 is white. Rows 26 to 30 is green. Rows 31 to 35 is white. Rows 36 to 40 is pink. And then the big chunk in the middle, row 41 to 75 is white. And then I just repeated my colors. Rows 76 to 80 are pink. Rows 81 to 85 are white. 86 to 90 is green. 91 to 95 is white. 96 to 100 is orange. 101 to 105 is white. 106 to 110 is blue. 111 to 115 is white. And then the last row, which is row 116, is a single crochet to finish it off. Okay, so my blanket is 116 rows. All right, and it's for the color blocks. It'll be 5 rows of blue, 5 of orange, 5 of green, 5 of pink. I thought 5 was a nice number to get us a good color block. Okay. All right, so let me show it to you real quick. So you see, this is what I call the front side of the blanket, because this is where I was doing the... No, is this the back side? Front side. Well, this is my first row, which is just all double crochets. Then my second row where I alternated. And then the third row, which is double crochets. And then the fourth row, which is... I'll explain it. I need a minute. So there we go. My first block is white. And then we go into this cool blue from Bernat Super Value. It's a pretty color, right? And then 5 more rows of white. And this is pumpkin orange. I'm looking at it through my camera lens, and it is coming out really dark, really bright, but it's lighter than that. It really is a good pumpkin color. And then 5 more rows of white. And this is you gotta remember that Red Heart eventually was sold to Yarnspirations, and they changed where they manufactured the yarn. So when I bought this way back in 2012, 2013, 2014, it was spring green, but it was actually more of a neon green. Spring green nowadays is a bit more muted and toned down. So keep that in mind. If you're trying to do an exact color like I did, you might have to find something else. And then this bubblegum pink, which I love this. This is from Red Heart with Love. So it's still a number 4 medium weight, but it feels a little thicker, a little softer. But I have used this bubblegum color in so many of my other blankets. And then this big block in the middle is 35 rows of white. And then we go back to bubblegum pink, white, the green, white and orange, white and blue, and then the last row, which should have been a regular double crochet, and then I came back and did a single crochet just to finish it off. Now I don't have a border. That's why this blanket sat for so long. I was so undecided on whether or not I wanted to put a border on it, and here it is 9 years later, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, nope, it doesn't need a border. It is fine the way it is. So I'm going to leave it like that. I'm not going to do anything else to this blanket other than wash it, because it has been sitting in my project pile for so long. I am going to throw it in the washer, give it a gentle spin with some warm water, and lay it out on the floor to dry. I would like it to be nice and clean and fresh for when I try to sell it. Or not try to, I'm going to. Just stop saying try. Alright, so the pattern itself. I love my little IKEA step stool. The pattern itself is what I think very simple. I did a chain of 125, and then I did 3 more chains, so 128. But these first 3 chains, because you don't work in them, you work in the 3rd or 4th chain from the hook, whichever works for you, and that chain 3 acts as your first double crochet. So I did chain 125 plus 3, and that 3 is my turning chain, and it counts as a stitch. Row number 1 is double crochets in each and every chain all the way across to the end. So since you're counting the chain 3 as your first stitch, as your first double crochet, you will have 126 stitches. Row 2, you do a double crochet in the first stitch. You do a front post double crochet around the second stitch. Then you do a double crochet. Then you do a front post, then double, front post, double, front post, and it alternates all the way to the end of the row, and you should end on a regular double crochet, chain 3 and turn. Row 3 is just double crochets in each stitch across. It'll be a double crochet in the double crochet. It'll be a double crochet in the front post double crochet. Each stitch across, and then you get to the end, chain 3, and you turn. So row 4 is a repeat of row 2, where you alternate double crochets and front post double crochets. Row 5 is a repeat of row 3, where it's just double crochets all the way across, until you get down to row 115, which should be your last double crochet row, okay? And then you do row 116, which is just single crochets all the way across, and then you fasten off. Easy peasy. Now, when you take a look at this, it's going to look a little bit like the alpine stitch. I had no idea what that was back in the day. I just did this all on my own when I was trying to work out how to do the waffle stitch, okay? So this is my starting chain right here, and this is my first row, which is just all double crochets, okay? And then when I got to the end, and I turned, see if I can see around the camera. Okay, so this is row 2, and this is where the front post and the regular alternate. So my first stitch, here's my chain 3, double crochet in the first stitch, front post double crochet on this stitch, because you know it's not in the stitch, it's around, double crochet, front post double crochet, front post, double, front post, okay? And then you go, when you get to the end, you chain 3 and you turn, and this is just a row of all double crochets, plain double crochets, okay? And then you come back to the next row, and you see, you start with a double crochet, front post, double crochet, front post, double crochet, front post. So it does give you this bit of texture on this side, with the front post being raised like this. Yeah, beautiful, right? But I kept it nice and simple because I just could not wrap my head around the 2 front posts, the 2 back posts, and then coming back on the next row, I couldn't figure out if you were supposed to do front posts on the back posts or back posts on the front posts. So this was my version of the waffle stitch in 2014. And actually, I think I would like to make another one, because this one I found to be very relaxing, because I actually didn't have to, I didn't have to do any counting, but I still count anyway. I count every 10 rows or so just to make sure that my stitches are still what they're supposed to be. So it should be 126. I would still count. So, you know, you see how it's completely reversible. You can have this side up, which is actually a little flatter, but it still has some texture to it. And then this side, where it really highlights those front posts, because now on this side they look like they're back posts, you know, and it creates this little divot right here where the butter would melt on your waffle. You'll love the waffle stitch. It is a fun technique to do on a blanket. So, what do you guys think of my blanket? I think it's absolutely adorable, and I love it. And you see how it's got lots of drape to it. It's not thick, it's not dense, it's not stiff, okay? It's got a lot of movement to it, okay? Because I crochet big and loose, I actually, whoops, my notes fell. When I go to make a blanket, I actually have to sit down and have a little chat with myself and say, do I want this blanket to be thick and dense, or do I want it flowy with some drape to it? Do I want my stitches big and wide and loose, or do I need them smaller and compact? Because I do crochet very loosely, and there's a lot of stretch in my stitches, so I have to sit with myself and decide which way I'm going to go with the blankets. I don't know, that's just how I have to do things, because not everything can be big and loose, right? So my inspiration for this blanket, I'm sorry, it's an allergy day every March. My inspiration, do you guys know those wool blankets from Canada, from the Hudson Bay company, where they have the stripes because it was a trading thing? I love the look of the Hudson Bay blankets, right? And I wanted to make a crocheted version of it, and that's what I had done with the other one that had the blue, the purple, the green, the burgundy. That was my first one, and I was inspired by the Hudson Bay blanket, and I think it actually turned out really nice. And then with my colors that I chose, I really should have done a soft white with the jewel tone, but I think the bright white works really well here. I was kind of going for I was inspired. It was so funny. It's a mix of the Hudson Bay blanket and then a beach ball. These colors kind of remind me of those inflatable balls that you see the kids throwing around on the beach. That's what my color inspiration was for this one. This blanket is absolutely adorable. I love it, but I can't keep it. I can't keep everything I make, just some things. I would love to make another one when I am done with my project pile, and I plan on sitting with my notebook and going through my blanket patterns, and I plan on making some more, because some of these patterns I'm just so drawn to, partly because they're just so relaxing and it doesn't revolve a lot of thinking and a lot of counting. When you're doing just the row of double crochets, you don't have to think about what you're doing. You just put a double crochet in every stitch across. When you chain 3 and you turn and you do the double crochet in the first stitch, you do the front post, double, front post, front, double, front post, and you just go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and alternate. I love that. It's so relaxing, and I'm looking forward to going back to crocheting when I take care of this project pile. Yeah, if you guys decide to make a blanket, let me know. I would be curious as to what kind of yarn you would use, what kind of color combinations you would put together, because I mean that's the most fun part for me, is actually coming up with color combinations. I love playing with color with yarn. It's the best part. Yeah, well, I mean, Is it the best part? They're all best parts, but it's the funnest part, putting the colors together. I do enjoy that. So something new, I got news. Months and months and months ago, I applied at yarnspirations.com for an affiliate link, so I can be an affiliate. And what that means is that if you decide to buy yarn at yarnspirations.com, I would ask you to use my link down in the description box. And any yarn that you buy or anything else from their website, I would earn a small commission from it. And you don't have to do anything. You just click on my link, it takes you to their website, and all the little computer stuff behind it, it just knows who I am, it knows what you're doing, it knows that you came there from my video and you're buying yarn, and I would earn a small commission. And I got approved. I had applied months and months and months ago, and I got approved like 2 weeks ago, and I'm so excited because Yarnspirations has Bernat Super Value, and I like Bernat Super Value as a yarn. I think it is I think it's affordable, and I think it's well made. They do Red Heart. They had bought Red Heart years ago, so they do all the Red Heart yarns now, from Super Saver to With Love. Okay, they also do Karen, which you know I love my Karen cakes. Okay, and Karen Simply Soft. So Yarnspirations has a lot of yarn. I know yarn is expensive, so I'm not telling you guys to go shopping. I know yarn is expensive. I know that. I look at the yarn prices nowadays online, and I'm like, oh my goodness, it's crazy out there. But if you do go shopping online, I would ask you to use my link. I would really appreciate it. It'll help offset some of the costs that I have to do with making videos. I know, it's so weird asking people to use a link. I don't know how other people do it. I feel so weird doing that. I'm so happy to be back making videos, and this video about this blanket was nice and easy. I was not stressed out about this one. It was easy enough to sit with it on my lap to figure out what I had done, even though I don't have any notes from it. It was nice and relaxing because it's already completely finished, and I didn't need to do anything else to it. So what I do need to do is stick it in a washer, get it dried so it's nice and fresh, and then get it listed at Etsy, which I'm still, every time I go to Etsy and I load it up, I get so panicked, and I can't write out descriptions yet. I'm still working on that. If you guys got any advice on how to sell your stuff online, please, my goodness, let me know down in the comments below. And if you do make a blanket, the best way to let me know is through my email. I do have Granny Square Peg at Facebook, but I'm just not a big Facebook user anymore. So the best way is with Gmail. It's grannysquarepeg@gmail.com. You can send me messages. You can send me pictures of anything that you're working on. Let me know if I can use them in a video. And so thank you guys very much. I'm up over 900 subscribers, and I cannot believe it. It's been just a little over a year and 2 months, over 900 subscribers, and I am enjoying every video I make. So thank you guys for being here, and I will catch you next Sunday with the next blanket, or on Wednesday. I have a project that my cat was involved in, and I'm trying to get all my little video clips together for that one. So it's a surprise. I had help from one of my kitty cats on making something. All right, so I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.